Design matters, and if you want to stand a chance at generating any amount of recurring monthly revenue selling low-content books on KDP, you must consistently produce eye-catching, professional-looking book covers that grab shoppers' attention as they scroll through a never-ending sea of your competitors. But that's not as hard as you might think, even if you have no prior design experience. The key is to use professional stock imagery from a reputable source, and my top recommendation for that source is Creative Fabrica. Today I'm going to give you a brief tour of the Creative Fabrica website, and then I'm going to show you how easy it is to create high-quality, print-ready book covers using Creative Fabrica fonts and images. And I'm also going to share an amazing deal that they've got going on right now that you won't want to miss if you're interested in building a professional image library that you can use over and over to create profitable low-content books in any possible niche. Hello, I'm Rachel Harrison-Sun, and I help people to generate passive income, creating and selling journals, planners, notebooks, and more on the Kindle Direct Publishing platform. If that sounds cool, then do subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified every time I put out one of these videos, which is each and every Monday. So Creative Fabrica is my go-to stock font and image site for creating professional-looking books. They have got tons of beautiful fonts and graphics, and they've got the best license available for low content books. And right now, they've got a really fantastic promo going on where you can get their all access plan for just $1 for the first month, and then just $19 a month after that first month is up. This deal gives you full access to all of the resources on the site, and that includes over 1 million design resources, 380,000 print-on-demand assets, 87,000 fonts, hundreds of designs made specifically for KDP, including full interior templates, and even access to hundreds of classes that cover all kinds of topics like graphic design. There's even a community of fellow students that you can join for support as well. Now, commercial use is allowed on all of these resources, and the best part is, in my opinion, is that you can cancel the subscription at any time, and you don't have to stop selling your books once your subscription ends. Now, if you want to check out this amazing deal, click on the link below this video. I highly encourage you to take advantage of it while you can. I don't know when this deal is going to end, but it will end at some point, so get it while you can. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Creative Fabrica, and then we're going to start creating our book cover. Here we are on the Creative Fabrica website, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a quick tour. So first, let's check out the fonts. So these are all organized according to what type of font you're looking for. We've got script, display, which is great for using in things like headlines, so great for titles on book covers. Sans serif, serif, black letter, slab decorative, dingbats, color fonts, and of course you can just go ahead and browse all if you want. Now, since display fonts are great for book covers, let's go ahead and just take a quick peek there. So you can just see they've got a massive variety of fonts, all different styles here, different personalities. Then let's go ahead and we can just check out one or two others here. So these are some sans serif. Sans serif usually tends to be a little bit more on the modern looking side, a little bit more contemporary. So again, tons of different variety, tons of different styles, all sorts of different applications here. And then if you wanted to check out, let's take a look at serif. Serif tends to be a little bit more traditional feeling. So this is where you could go to get some fonts that would work in a little bit more of a traditional style, if that's what you're looking for your book. But I mean, look at this, 109 pages here. This just goes on and on and on. There's no way you're not going to be able to find whatever font you're looking for whatever the vibe is that you've got going for your book. You will be able to find a font that works here. Next, we'll go over to graphics. So again, all different types here. We've got 3D SVG, coloring books for adults, coloring books for kids. We've got patterns, product mock-ups, logos, illustrations, backgrounds, KDP interiors. All right, absolutely tons of stuff here. I know they've got hundreds and hundreds of different KDP interiors. So we've got coloring books here, decluttering planner and organizer, mandala coloring pages, Easter activity books. We've got bundles that includes all sorts of different things here. planners and calendars. So again, tons of variety. Let's check out illustrations. So lots of stuff here that would look great on any kind of a book cover. It doesn't really matter what kind of a cover you're going for, there's going to be something here for you. You can always just use the search bar up above, whatever your idea, your theme, your sub-niche is, type it in, and anything related to that theme or sub-niche is going to come up. Patterns, so this kind of stuff can be great for backgrounds on book covers. So tons of stuff here as well. Here's where you can find the classes that I was talking about. So tons of different online classes here. For anyone doing KDP, graphic design, that would be a great place to start. So lots of stuff here. Look, make your own coloring book in Canva. Photoshop basics. Making abstract patterns in Canva, tons and tons of stuff here. This is all included in the All Access subscription. Then we've got some different tools here. Bundles. So some of these bundles are for fonts, some of them are for graphics. All sorts of stuff here as well. And then if you just want to go straight to POD, you can do that as well. So this is, everything included here is included with the full print on demand. So you can use all of this stuff here for commercial use. You can use it if you want to make modifications. You can use it without making modifications. Totally up to you. So tons and tons of stuff in this print on demand section. So let's just go ahead. Easter's right around the corner, so why don't we start there? So now I've pulled up everything for Easter, and then we can go to the left menu here and just run a couple of filters. So let's see here. Let's see what they've got for print templates. Now they're showing all this stuff on shirts, but this stuff actually would look really good on the cover of a book as well. So maybe you've got like an Easter themed notebook or coloring book or some sort of activity book. Stuff like that would work great on the cover. So don't be put off by the fact that they're just being shown on t-shirts. These graphics would look great on a book cover as well. So there are those. Then we've also got illustrations here. So again, these can be taken, they can be modified. So you can create your own compositions for a book cover. Or, you know, if they're included in the full print on demand license, then you could use them as is without modifications. Some more graphic templates here. That's going to be similar to the print templates. So again, something like that would look really cute on a book cover. Same with this stuff here. And patterns as well here, icons, you can just go all the way down the list, filtering them out. Now, once you've found something that you're interested in, so let's take this Easter one, for example. What you want to look for are a couple of different things. First, you want to make sure that commercial and full POD usage is allowed. If you see that there, you're golden. The other thing you want to take note of is the file type. So usually you're going to get either PNGs or you're going to get EPS or SVGs, or in this case, you've got all three of them included, which is ideal. So SVG and EPS files, they are vector files. So those can only be directly edited in a vector editing program. So that could be something like Affinity Designer. It could be, Affinity Designer or Adobe Illustrator, or even Affinity Publisher has some vector editing capabilities. And then for a couple of free options, you could try out Gravit Designer or Inkscape. So if you want to actually directly edit the vectors, you're going to want either the SVG or the EPS files. Now, PNG are raster files, so they are best used in Photoshop or Affinity Photo. Now, that's if you want to edit the PNG files. They're not going to be directly editable in a program like Publisher or Designer. Now, you can still use these. You can use any of these files in any of the programs I just mentioned, but just keep in mind if they're vector files and you want to be able to make direct modifications to the vector files, you're going to need to be working in a program where you can actually edit vector files. So again, that's something like Adobe InDesign or Affinity Publisher or Affinity Designer. Now in this case, we've got all three, so that's great because I think I probably will want to do a little bit of vector editing, and I'm going to be doing that in Affinity Publisher. So that is the program that I'm going to be using to create this cover. Now I've also gone ahead and just picked out a font that I'm going to be using on my book cover as well. So this is the adorable bundle font, and it's 10 different fonts here. So that's a cute little bundle, and I've already gone ahead and downloaded that. So now we're going to head on over to Affinity Publisher and we're going to throw this book cover together. So first stop is the print cover calculator and template page over at KDP, and I'll leave a link to this down below. This is just going to give us a cover template that we can use to make sure that we've got perfectly accurate dimensions for our book cover. So we're just going to go down the line here and we're going to choose paperback, black and white, white paper. Page turn is going to be left to right. And then I'm going to choose inches. And I'm going to do an 8.5 and 11. So for this example book cover, I'm going to do a coloring book cover. So 8.5 by 11, 8 by 10, those are two decent sizes for coloring books. And I'm just going to throw in a random 50 pages here, and then we'll calculate the dimensions. So this is showing us what our book cover template is going to look like, and it's showing us all the different dimensions here. So the full dimensions are going to be 17 inches, 0.363 and 11.25. Now that's including the bleed. So if you are using a program like Affinity Publisher, which is what I'm using, don't get confused here. You don't want to create a document that's this size and then also throw in your 0.125 bleed. What you actually need to do here is take this number, the width, and minus the bleed. And same with the height. You're going to take 11.25, you're going to subtract the bleed, and that is going to give you your document dimensions, and then you're going to add the bleed after you, while you're setting up your document rather. So that might sound confusing. It'll probably make more sense in a second here. So my full width, 17.363 inches. I'm going to subtract the bleed of 0.125, and that's going to give me a width of 17.113. And then for my height, I've got 11.25. I'm going to subtract the bleed of 0.125, and that's going to give me 11 inches. Now, just in case I've confused you even more, there's a bleed going all the way around here. So there's 0.125 bleed up top, and then there's a 0.125 bleed at the bottom. So that actually equals 0.25. Now, I hope I didn't just confuse the hell out of you there. That probably sounded confusing, and it'll make more sense when you go through it on your own and are doing those calculations. But I just wanted to point that out because that could get confusing if you just went ahead and created your document at this full size here and then also added a bleed on top. So I'm going to head over to Affinity Publisher. I'm going to create a new document. So my page width is going to be 17.113. My page height is going to be 11. I want 300 DPI. I want units in inches. I only want one page. Facing pages doesn't matter because there's only one. I want the CMYK color space. Margins, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch margin all the way around. So if I just click that little lock here and I enter in the margin in the first box here and I hit tab, it's just going to auto-populate the rest of the boxes here. And then here's where I want my bleed. So 0.125 all the way around, and then I'll hit create. Now margins I screwed up here. So I actually want 1/2 inch. There we go. That is more like it. Now I'm going to place my cover template. So file place. I'm going to put that in the top corner of my bleed, drag that right out. And there we go. Now I'm also going to put a lock on that template so it doesn't move. So if you want to watch a video that's a lot more dedicated on how to actually use Affinity Publisher, please go do check out that video, how to create a book cover in Affinity Publisher, linked down below in the description of this video. So this file is set up and ready to go. Now I'm also going to open up our Easter file that I've just downloaded. So this is the folder here. You can see inside there is a folder full of EPS files. So these are vector files. PNG, which are raster files. So these are all the different elements separated. And that's going to be the same for the EPS files here. But these are vector. The PNG are raster. And the SVG are also vector. So I'm going to be using the EPS files simply because I want to be able to edit them if I want to. And so I'm going to have to use the vector files to do that. Now first what I'm going to do, because they've also got these 2 files here where all of the different elements are on one page. So we've got a JPEG here, which isn't really of much use, but the EPS file, I'm going to go ahead and open up that with Affinity Publisher. Strictly so that I can just grab these elements and copy and paste them directly onto my book cover. So let's just get cracking here. Let's delete that. All right, so I'm gonna choose this entire title here. So I'm gonna copy that and paste it. So I'm just going to make sure that I've kept that in my margins. Now, one thing to note here, I've got my margin all the way around the outside, but I'm kind of missing this inner margin here. So I'm just going to create one by dragging out some guides. So I did a 1/2 inch margin. I'm just going to zoom in so I can get some accuracy here. And I'm just going to grab from this top corner and I'm going to align it directly with my spine here. That's just going to drag the 0 here, and now I know where my 1/2 inch margin guide's going to go. So I'm just going to pull this over from this left ruler, and I'm just going to line that up here. And that's about right. So there's my 1/2 inch margin. These are all the different layers here. It's an absolute ton. I'm going to go down to my template layer. I'm just going to turn it off for a minute. So I'm just going to click that check mark. That's going to be useful later when I'm making sure that nothing is in any unsafe areas. But for right now, I'm just going to get rid of it because it's a little bit distracting. So those came along for the ride. Don't really want that. Okay. So that's a good start. I'll choose this basket next. right, now I'm going to grab the bunny rabbit. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here, I've just grouped all of these elements. So that was just a quick Command G on a Mac. So that'll be a different shortcut on a PC, but you can do it up here just by going to Layer Group. And that's just going to make sure that we don't have a million layers here. So that's just kind of group them all together. So I think I'll just quickly do that for the other elements as well. So I'm just going to grab that Happy Easter, Command G, and I'm going to do that for this basket as well. And that is just going to cut down on all the layers that I'm seeing here. So that looks a little bit more manageable. And let's just get rid of that. All right, so what I'd like to do with this bunny is have it kind of like peeking its head out from this leaf over here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into this leaf. And let's see if I can select all the components of the leaf at once. Make it a bit smaller, I think, and then rotate it. Now again, I'm working quickly here, and if you're not familiar with this program, you might be getting a bit confused, but do check out that other video where I give you a good walkthrough of how to actually use Affinity Publisher. Let's just move this over here a little bit. All right, let's see how that's going to look. All right, I want him behind the plant, so I'll go ahead and do that. So he's kind of peeking his head out. All right, that's kind of cute. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Maybe we'll add this butterfly, or maybe this one. Oop, missed some of the elements. All right, Command G, I'll put those in a group. And I think maybe we'll move some of this. Make that a little bit smaller and then maybe flip it around. So we'll go to transform and we'll flip vertically. Actually, that should have been horizontally. All right. Maybe something like that. All right, now one thing that's kind of missing is a background. We do not want a plain white background because those tend to really get lost. So let's go ahead and create a background. So I'll just grab the rectangle tool. I'm just going to drag something out covering the complete thing. You want to make sure always that you're going, if you've got a bleed and you've got a background, it's got to start at the edge of the bleed all the way. And you might want to zoom in, because there's been a couple of times where I've uploaded something to KDP where I haven't zoomed in and it's been like maybe something like that. So just barely like a hair's width of bleed that is left uncovered, and that will get rejected. So just, you know, I always want to make sure that you've got it dragged from edge to edge. All right, so let's drag that to the very bottom. Now that doesn't look very good, so let's go ahead and choose a different color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the eyedropper and I'll just pick one of the colors here. That's a bit loud, so I'm just going to start dragging the sliders until I get something that I kind of like. So that's kind of looking nice. A nice little greenish blue. I think that works well. Now, this is a coloring book, so we obviously want to be telling people that. First, let's go ahead and lock the background. I'm going to move the title up. I'm going to move this artwork up some. And then I'm going to create a banner at the bottom where it's going to say coloring book. So I'm going to just draw this out. The shapes that this illustrator has used are really organic. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to grab the pen tool. I'm going to create sort of an organic shaped, imperfect ribbon at the bottom here. So I'm going to start at the margin. And again, I don't want this to be perfectly straight. I want it to be, you know, a little bit, not messy, but organic looking. And I'm going to choose another color. So again, grab my eyedropper, make sure I'm on the fill here. And let's see, I think I'll choose this red color. And let's see, I think I might want to move that down more toward the margin. I think I might want to fix a couple of these lines. They're a little bit too messy. So first off, let's get rid of this black stroke. Then I'm going to go ahead and choose the direct selection tool. All right, let's see how that looks. That looks a little bit better. Might even want to widen that a little bit. And then I do want this to kind of sit underneath it a little bit. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to grab the type tool. I'm going to drag out a text box here. And I'm going to do that all caps. Now I'm going to choose that typeface that I downloaded from Creative Fabrica. So that was Adorable Font 6. That's the one I want. And we'll just make sure that that is centered. And I'm going to drag out the text box to the margins, and that way it'll be completely centered on the page. I'm just going to adjust the kerning a little bit, which is the space between the letters. And I think I'm going to make that maybe this bright yellow color. All right, that looks kind of cute. One thing I might do too, just because I've noticed with some of these illustrations, there's a lot of, use of these kind of lines and things like that. So I might go ahead and add like an interior border to the ribbon here. So I'll go ahead and grab my pen tool again, zoom in, and I'm just going to follow along what I've already done here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, and it shouldn't be, because this is a little bit more of an organic feeling design. And let's make that. So I'm going to go select stroke, select the eyedropper, and let's do it in just this lighter color here. Then I'm going to go to the stroke palette, and we'll just make that a bit wider. And then again, if I want to go in and just sort of like fix anything that doesn't look quite right, I can do that by using this direct selection tool. All right, I think that looks good. And I might just add a few more things to the background here, just to jazz it up a little bit more. So let's see, maybe one of these star thingies or flowers. I don't know what it is. Maybe let's put one of those over here. I'm going to option click on it and drag. Then I can get another one going here. Maybe spin it around a bit, make it a bit smaller. Over here. Maybe do it one more time. And there's another one here. Let's do that. Feels like I could use another one over here. All right, so that looks pretty cute. Now, of course, we've got this back cover, and we don't want to leave that completely blank. So let's pick something to put on the back. First, let's go ahead and drop in a logo. So we've got that covered. So there's my XYZ Publishing logo. All right, maybe let's take this little chick here. Maybe we'll flip that around. I'm going to pull up my template again here. That's going to have to come right to the very top. And I'm going to turn down the opacity so I can actually see through it. At this point, I just want to know where the margins are. All right, so this is where the barcode is going to be. So I want to make sure I'm not putting anything of interest there. Now, it's no big deal if there's an illustration behind it, but just if you're going to put any text on the back, you want to make sure that this yellow area is not covered. All right, so maybe, let's see, what else can we put? Kind of like this flower thingy. Just move that out of the way. Yeah, maybe we'll flip that around as well. Again, I'm making sure that this graphic goes all the way to the edge of the bleed. Don't want any awkward cutoffs there. I'm just going to drag a guide here so I know exactly where my spine is. So I can turn off my template again. All right. Turn off the template for a moment so I can see what's what. Actually, I think I might move this. Flip it back. Now, with this being a coloring book, if you wanted to, you could actually show some of the coloring book pages on the back so that customers can see it. That would be up to you. I don't really want to overdo it on the back, but maybe there's one or two other little things we could do. Maybe we'll add a little flower. All right, I think that's done. I think that is our Happy Easter coloring book. All right, so now we just want to go ahead and export. So we'll go to File, Export, PDF for print, 300 DPI. Make sure you include the bleed. Do not neglect to check off that little box. And then if you want to preview the export when complete, just tick that. And we want whole document, and then we want export. All right, there we go. There's our book cover. So as you can see, Creative Fabrica makes it super, super easy to create really high quality, professional looking book covers in minimal time. So whether you have any graphic design experience or not, really doesn't matter. The bulk of the work here was already done when I opened up my file. All I had to do was rearrange things, make a couple of different modifications, and of course, with these being directly editable, you can make as many different modifications as you want to really make it unique and really make it your own. I did just some very minimal things here, but you could do whatever you wanted. Once you've got these vector files, you can open them up and make any modifications you want and make it as custom as you want. There you have it. If you're impressed with how easy it is to create a beautiful and professional looking book cover in record time using fonts and graphics from Creative Fabrica, then go ahead and click on the link in the description below to check out their all access plan. So once again, that is just $1 for the first month, and then it renews at $19 a month afterwards. You can cancel your subscription at any time, and you don't have to stop selling your books once you've canceled, which I think is the best part. Now, if you want a more in-depth tutorial of how to create a book cover in Affinity Publisher, which is what I just used to create this book, then check out this video next. If you're new to low content publishing and need a helping hand to get started, download my free guide linked down below, 3 steps to publishing your first low content book in less than a day. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with anyone you think might find it useful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Monday.